Visions without execution is just hallucination. This is a quote said by the famous Henry Ford, which represents the evolution of cars. My personal experience with cars started when my dad got a new car. Every day I spend more than an hour since he lives in Denver, so I took some time and wondered about the first cars and how they were like. This represents the quote, how you may be asking. It tells of how people sought to create more powerful cars and more affordable cars. The first car was created by Carl Benz, who created the Benz Patent motor wagon. This was not much for our time, but back then people were astonished. It had four wheels, and it only ran at 10 miles per hour. And next, Henry Ford created the Ford Model T, which made cars more buyable for the general public. This car was only in black, and it wasn't much for our time, but it was that back then people used it to go everywhere. And after the war, after the 50s, they created new terms for cars, two of which pony cars, which were smaller cars but had a good engine, and muscle cars, which were bigger but had a good engine, which was still used. And back then they didn't have good seatbelts, making the term "put your seatbelt on" useless. They had a 2-point seatbelt which only covered the lap, and it was invented by a man named Nils Bohlin, the 3-point seatbelt which covered the lap and chest, and he gave it to a company named Volvo, which Volvo gave it away for free, and saved many lives. Cars nowadays aren't as good as back then. Because the new electronic parts that they made, more parts made the car more fragile, which made them less reliable than cars made in the 60s or say. This made cars, and they made cars, more cars used electricity for them. And that is the evolution of cars. Thank you.